And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another flipping video. And today we're going to be talking about 10 different items that you can flip that are under 5 mil. But before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you for everybody who has subscribed and everybody who is going to subscribe. So if you enjoy what you are watching, please, I'm begging you, subscribe. Please subscribe.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Discord. I've created a Discord as a community of flippers. So if you want flipping advice, money-making methods, or just some people to talk to about RuneScape, or to create a community of RuneScapers, go ahead and join the Discord. I left the link for that down below in the description of this video. We'd love to have you guys. And also, if you're not subscribed, we're doing a bond giveaway. All you need to do is subscribe and leave the reason down below in comments why you think you deserve the bond.
Do it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this video. And coming in at number 1 is going to be the Gores Chain Mace. Now, the Gores Chain Mace is not an item that I used to do, but I've actually found it pretty effective, and it flips, I would say, fairly frequently. It's not as fast as like the Dragon Crossbow, but it still flips pretty regularly. And look at that, that's a really good margin on it actually. So that's 75k. That is an awesome margin on the Gores Chain Mace. Now, the only thing I'd recommend doing is flipping it not during peak hours, because I've noticed whenever I try to flip it during peak hours, I usually only get like a 2k plus margin. And it seems like whenever I flip this in like the middle of the night, for me at least, in my time zone, it's like 50 plus k. So that is a really good margin on it right now actually. But definitely, the Gores Chain Mace, if you are not flipping it, definitely add that to your arsenal if you guys have the cash stack. And if you don't, maybe we can look at one of these other items that we have in the video. And coming in at number 2, and I've mentioned this guy so many times, it is the Dragon Crossbow. So, within the past few weeks, within the past few weeks, Dragon Crossbow has actually been decreasing in price substantially. So I remember I used to flip this puppy for like, I think the starting price was like 4 mil, and I'd sell it for like 4 mil 50 or so. So it's right at 3 mil right now. That is an insane decrease. I don't know exactly what happened with the Dragon Crossbow. I don't know if it's a release at Bounty Hunter, it's just not an effective PKing weapon. That could be the potential reason as to why the price of it has decreased. But anyways, it's still a good flip. It has a really high buying limit on it. You can buy over 70. So even if the margin's like 8k like it was in here, that's still a large profit that you're looking at. But definitely do not buy all of them at once. I don't think most of us will have the cash stack to buy all of them at once. I usually do them in about increments of 5. Because it does change margin quite a bit. It does fluctuate. So just keep an eye on it. If it's not selling, I would say within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the offer, you may want to recheck the margin on that, because they do flip frequently. I mean, like within a matter of minutes or even seconds for me at some point. So good item to flip if you guys are not flipping it. If you've seen my past videos, you know I tell people all the time, please, please, please be flipping the Dragon Crossbows. They're a really effective flip for me. So please, if you guys aren't doing it, start flipping these. And coming at you with number 3 is going to be Guardian Boots. So Guardian Boots are one of my favorite flips for under 5 mil. It's just because they usually have really, really good margins on them for the price of them overall. So I've seen upwards of 200k margins on the Guardian Boots before. So usually what you can expect is about a 50k, 25 to 50k margin on the Guardian Boots. But once again, it really just depends on the demand of the market at the time. But overall, Guardian Boots are a really good flip. They're, I would say, in fairly high demand, and they're a decent flip if you guys don't have a giant cash stack, because I say they sell fairly quick. But like I said, it all just depends on the margin at that exact time. So just make sure, if you're flipping Guardian boots, I would not recommend flipping them during peak hours, because you're usually going to get your best margins. For me, it's like 12 a.m. in the morning. So whenever there's not as many players on, there's not as many dragon boots. There's not as many Guardian boots on the market, so there's a greater chance to be a higher margin on them. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the Uncharged Toxic Trident. So once again, this is an item that I did not regularly flip until somebody in my Discord mentioned me that it was a pretty good item to flip. It's just one that I overlooked. To be honest with you, it's one that I didn't even know existed. So it's a good flip. I've definitely found that out. Margin wise, I would say you could see about 20k plus. Once again, just depends on the market at the time. Right here in this video, as you can see, it had a better margin than that. So it all just depends on what people are buying them at, and what people are selling them at, because that's literally what flipping is. You can usually expect, I would say, a 20k margin on them. So if you're not flipping them, I would definitely recommend doing it. For me personally, at least these past few weeks, they've kind of been slowing down, so they don't flip as quick, but they're still a good quick flip. By quick flip, I mean probably 10 minutes or so for you to sell a GE amount of them. So Uncharged Toxic Tridents, if you're not flipping them, that is definitely something that I would recommend doing. And coming in at number 5 is going to be the Berserker Necklace. So this is an item that I actually was flipping on pretty early whenever I started my flipping career, but I'm starting to flip it again, mainly because I think it's actually a pretty decent flip. Before, I was having trouble flipping it, but these past few days I've been flipping them with no problem. They do take a minute to buy at least. That's one thing I noticed, but that's the only caveat I can think of. And look at the margin on them. So I don't think you're going to flip the entire limit, but if you did, look at the potential for profit. That is probably the only thing that I can think of wrong with them, is you're never really able to buy the entire limit. But that's the same thing with dragon crossbows, because the margin changes so frequently. If you are going to do them, I recommend buying them, I'd say increments of 2 to 3, because after that third one or so, the margin's going to change. So definitely, if you're not flipping them, add Berserker Necklaces to your flipping list, because definitely they're an item that can make you a lot of profit if you are just careful with them and you have a little bit of patience. And coming in at number 6 is a no-brainer, Berserker Rings. So Berserker Rings, they flip so frequently and they're sold so frequently on the Grand Exchange that you're bound to have at least a decent margin on them. So I would say the average margin on them is about 12k. So you can see it was a little bit higher here in this video, but that's because I was flipping during non-peak hours. So once again, if you guys are new to flipping, I recommend flipping during non-peak hours, because that's usually whenever you're going to find your best margins. But anyways, Berserker Rings, if you're not flipping them, I do recommend doing it if you guys have the cash stack. And even if you don't, if you only have 5 mil or less, they flip fairly frequently. So I would say you could flip the entire buying limit within 10 minutes or less. That's kind of my average with them. I don't really have to worry about them sitting there just waiting to sell, because they do sell pretty quick, just like the Amulet of Fury. And coming in at number 7 is going to be the Toxic Blowpipe. So once again, the Toxic Blowpipe is another item that flips fairly quickly for me, and it's right under 5 mil. It is a weapon that is used regularly in the game, so you're not going to have to worry about it not buying, not selling. And I would say margin-wise, you can probably expect, this is a hard one, you could probably expect, I'd say 8 to 20k. I would say I've seen it higher. As you can see, it was higher here, so I was lucky. But I would say the average is probably 8 to 20k. If you guys think there's a better average, leave a comment down below, let me know. But right now we're going to go with that average. So yeah, if you guys are not flipping toxic blowpipes and you do have the cash stack too, please start flipping them. I would say buy them in increments of 3 because the margin does change a little bit on them, but not as frequently as some of the other items on this list. So solid flip if you guys have the cash stack. And coming in at number 8 on this list is the Brimstone Ring. So there's a funny story about the Brimstone Ring. I used to have a lot of trouble getting this item to flip. I don't know, this past month, it has flipped pretty frequently for me, and it's become one of my staple items that I use flipping. I usually start out with the Brimstone Ring. It's I started with jewelry usually. So Brimstone Ring is one of the items that I started out with. Margin wise, I could say you'd expect 12 to 50k, I would say is probably the average for Brimstone Rings. As you can see, it was right around that for this video, and I'm still happy with it though, because I know they're gonna flip. They take a little bit more time. They take a little bit more time than Berserker Ring or any of the other warrior rings, but you do have to be patient with them, but it will pay off because they will eventually sell. Because once again, they're a highly used item in the game, so you don't have to worry about them selling. I recommend buying them probably in increments of 5. I'm just going to buy them in increments of 7 here because I don't have too much time. So I'm trying to kind of rush things through this. But if you guys want to play it safe, I recommend buying them in increments of 2, 3. I wouldn't actually go over 4 probably because that margin's most likely going to change by the point you get those 4 sold. So definitely, if you are not flipping Berserker Rings, Brimstone Rings, add those 2 to your list. We're going to break the rules here a little bit. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the Archer's Ring. So this is a little bit above 5 mil, but I was flipping this item pretty regularly whenever it was below 5. I'd say, I don't know, like 4.9, something like that. But it's definitely a good item for you guys to be flipping whenever it's right around that 5 mil price range. I could say you'd expect a margin of 12, probably 12 to 30k is what I usually see with the Archer's Ring. I usually don't see more than that just because it's not an item that I would say is used as regularly as a Berserker Ring. If you guys disagree, leave a comment down below and we'll argue about it. I love arguing. But yeah, definitely, if you're not flipping it, I do recommend flipping Archer's Rings if you guys have the cash stack. If you do have the cash stack and it was a choice between Archer's Rings and Berserker Rings, I would recommend doing Berserker Rings because for me, Berserker Rings sell a little bit faster. But once again, it all just depends on the market, what's in demand at that point that you guys are selling. And coming in at number 10 here with an absurd margin on it, absolutely absurd, is the Amulet of Fury. And just so you know, I did get this margin and they did flip for that amount. I made a decent penny off flipping Furies tonight. This was actually the highest margins I've ever seen on the Furies. But regularly, I'd say you could expect about 20k, a little bit less is the average margin on the Furies. I just got super lucky whenever I was recording this. But yeah, definitely, I think everybody knows to flip Furies, but it is an item if you don't have the cash stack, I would say work up to it, and that's one of the first things that you should be flipping. And if you're not flipping it,
not good,
add this to your list because it is a really good item to flip, and it flips within minutes. I would say you could flip the entire limit of them within 2-3 minutes, I would say is my average at least. I recommend flipping them, I would say in increments of 2 to 3 because the margin will change on them and you will have to adjust the price a little bit. But still, it's definitely an item that everybody should be flipping if they have the money to do so. And that is all for this video, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, Discord, if you are not joined in the Discord, please, 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 please join. It is a really good community. I think everybody on there offers amazing advice. Link to the Discord is down in the description of this video, so please join. Also, if you liked what you saw, subscribe. Don't forget about the bond giveaway we are doing. Leave a comment down below as to why you deserve the bond, and subscribe, and you have the chance to win a bond. Alright guys, that's all I had for you. I'll see you in the next video.